Oh my gosh, this is what happens when I do this stuff. Hey guys, it's Jay. Welcome back to the channel. Technical difficulties as always, everybody. Holy crap. Guys, this is just nuts. This is absolutely crazy. If you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, I am super excited, and of course my mic. I just got my mic stand back up. And I hope it doesn't fall today because you know it's been falling constantly. So just just ridiculous, just ridiculous. But anyway, thank you guys for joining us this afternoon. This is going to be a lot of fun. Oh my god! Like I did a live stream over the weekend, and you know it's one of those things. It's very rare that one of your dreams come true. You know what I mean? It's incredibly rare, and I'm getting shivers, guys. I'm getting shivers because, to be really honest with you, I didn't think that something like this could ever happen in my lifetime. I thought, you know what, my grandkids or like the people, the next generation would not even know what Master Universe is. You know what I mean? But look at what's been happening. 2020, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023. It's been the years of the Master Universe resurgence. And you know what? The community has just returned in droves. Younger people, you know, or fans of the other generations of Master Universe have galvanized and come back and you know started their own collections for Master Universe. And then you have the people who are truly talented and the people who you know are showcasing their true fandom, and those are the people who are creating incredible artwork and incredible designs and incredible custom play sets. What the heck, everybody? What the heck? Seriously, I cannot believe what we've been treated to for the last few weeks. I have two special guests tonight, and this is going to be historic in my opinion, especially here for this channel. It's very rare. Okay, it's very rare to see something come from. No, seriously, this is. I'm actually being very truthful here. It's very rare to see something come from conception to reality. These are two things that almost never happen. If you look at the movie industry, the entire movie industry rotates on scripts and concepts, and you'd be surprised. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands of scripts are submitted every day, and even the ones that are actually purchased and sold through, they never see the light of day for decades, right? Like I've been waiting for Conan the King, you know, and so is Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger has been waiting for Conan the King to be realized for decades, and it's never come to pass, right? You can have a script which is there for years, and that never happens. And this is the same case with this. We had a concept which was created by a wonderful designer, you know, a fan who just said, you know what, I have an idea, and here it is. And they know Stuart put everything on paper, and it was beautiful. People, the whole community lost their minds, and it was almost nearly a decade before it actually came to reality by one person's passion and ingenuity. And I want to bring that person here today because honestly, I am super excited. And you know what? He is a bit nervous. This is his first time on camera, but please welcome my good friend, Mike of Kentel Studios. Mike, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, man. I'm nervous, but thanks for having me, Jay.
That's okay, my friend. That's okay. I have another guest who's just waiting in the waiting room, and I think you'll be very surprised about who it is. But before we bring him in, could you tell us a little bit about your studio and how did you come up with this concept? How did you come up with this idea? I mean, what drove you to make this a reality, my friend? Yeah, please tell us a little bit more.
Well, first of all, let me apologize to the viewers. I'm not very good at English, but I will do my best, and I hope everybody can understand me. And my studio, I'm one guy in a room. That's my studio. Sure, in Instagram and I'm my name is Candel Studio, but I'm just a guy. I'm a graphic designer with hobbies. so that's who I am. And as if we start to to talk about the project that bring us here. And just say it, about, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, as a MOTU fan and MOTU collector, some some miracle bring to me that image that a guy created, I don't know where, and I've seen a concept of a non-existent playset of Masters of the Universe, and that was the Eternos palace. And I don't know, like you, I was in love with that image. I thought, man, this should be real. I wish this should be real, and was so perfect. I can express myself the way I want it to be, but I don't know, man. It blew my mind. So in that moment, I thought, this needs to be made. This needs to be real. I hope Mattel or any other big toy company make this possible. And well, like a seed planted in my head, it was that idea was growing on my mind.
Yes, absolutely.
And here we are.
Absolutely. Of course, English is Mike's second language, but he's doing amazing, guys. His English is very, very good. But Mike, feel free to express yourself in any way. Again, we have a lot of Spanish-speaking people in the chat, so again, feel free to express yourself. Really quickly, I wanted to say thank you to Jay Oatspeed for becoming a channel member. Thank you so much, my friends. You are the best. I want to bring in my next guest as well, and then we're going to start taking a look at some of your work there, Mike, because I think everyone will enjoy taking some, getting some insight from this guest, because honestly, this all started with him. This is actually everything, and he pretty much started this whole journey on this just by building something which all of us were amazed by. Guys, please help me welcome Stuart, the creator of the illustration. Stuart, how are you today, my friend?
I am very hot. It's unusually blisteringly hot here in England, so I do speak English.
This is the first time you two are meeting, I'm guessing, or you as?
Yeah.
I don't know even where are you in Instagram or Twitter. I never found you.
I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
No, you've done such an amazing job. I'm so impressed. So congratulations. I did message you yesterday, actually. It's probably in your chat requests, I expect.
In Facebook, you mean? That's I have a very abandoned Facebook, but I need to I need to check this out.
This is incredible. So
it is.
Now this is a rare case, a very rare case, my friends, where a concept which was created by Stuart was actually realized, and it's been close to a decade now, hasn't it been, Stuart? What did you create?
Not the Eternos Palace one. That one's been a few years. Some of the older ones are about 10 years old.
Yeah.
I started doing them during the classics era.
Yeah. So originally it was created for classics. Yeah, and it's done the rounds though, right? Like the whole community just got galvanized when they saw that, and the way you created it as a concept, I think people were expecting that it would become a reality because it looked so good, right? That so many people were like, oh my god, is this actually coming out now, right? I think a lot of people out of the interactions you've got, what were some of the reactions you've received over the years?
Well, it was a bit of a shock actually, because I've done a lot of those concepts. The first one I ever did actually was Snake Mountain. And at the time, I was a moderator for Matty Collector called Catra's Wrath. So I spoke to Toy Guru, etc., quite a lot at the time. And once Castle Grayskull came out, obviously, then everybody wanted Snake Mountain. So the first one I did was a Snake Mountain concept. And I remember showing it to Scott, and he really loved it. And I sort of like emailed it over. And then he told me later on that he actually used that concept at the pitch meeting to hire upper management to get a classic Snake Mountain green lit.
Wow.
So that was really touching. And then I kind of thought, oh, maybe I'm okay at this. And my skills, like I was very amateur back then as well. So I've kind of grown them over the years. And then the next big one for me was the Fright Zone, because I don't know about you guys. I know some people love it, but as a kid, I called it the evil patio. I really hated that playset because I wanted the great big tech fortress from the She-Ra cartoon. I didn't want like a moldy old garden patio with a giant snake on it. So that was the big challenge for me.
So Stu, was this the original concept you pitched?
No, it was the purple one.
It was
Like the Fraggle face Snake Mountain, as I call it.
What was it called?
The classic, vintage Snake Mountain style one.
Yeah.
Well, I call it Fraggle Snake Mountain because of the big bird face. It looks a bit like a Skeksis.
Yeah, this was actually it's right here, right? This is was this the one?
No, that's when I did a suggestion for the interior of the classic Snake Mountain.
So you were the one who actually put this together then.
I did that, yeah, but it's a concept for how the inside could be improved.
Improved. I got you. Yeah, I'm looking.
It comes into budget at the end of the day, but I just felt like some of the space was wasted, and actually, I would have rather had a second level on that side.
It's again, it's beautiful looking at everything that you were able to create. I can't find the one that you're talking about, but
I can't even remember whether I sent it to you.
Yeah,
I thought I did, but maybe not. I don't know. That was a filmation version of the classics one, basically, for the Super 7 filmation figures. That would have
been incredible. And then, of course, you are talking about the Fright Zone concept, which a lot of people have freaked out over. Right. This is
I've actually, if you can see there, I've actually incorporated the evil patio at the bottom there.
Yeah, it's right. It's right here.
To kind of, and I used elements for various other play sets and stuff. That was one of the early ones I did before I learned about light sourcing and rendering and stuff. So, but I wanted to kind of bring the cartoon version into the vintage one and kind of do a combo. And did I send you the interior as well? I think I did.
I think maybe. Let me. I'm looking through them, but oh yeah, you did. It's right here. There it is.
Yeah, I tried to capture obviously the main thing from the Fright Zone that you see in the cartoon is always the throne room and the steps with his warriors kind of like gathered at the bottom. So I tried to capture that on the inside of the playset, and make it a feasible playset as well. It looks enormous, and it is, but it is also. That's a lot to do with kind of like the clip-on leg attachments and big spiky bits and stuff. The actual play area isn't as massive as it appears. So
you say that, but these are 7-inch figures. I mean, they're not.
Shut up, Jay.
These things
I will make the room.
And you know what? That's actually what happened in this case, right? Because Mike took your concept, which was something I think a lot of us were hoping for. Actually, to be honest with you, and I'll say it this way, I don't think any of us actually at the time expected anything like this. I think most of us, because again, we are fans of the. Wow, this one's really high resolution. Hold on for a second.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, this one's super high resolution. Let me see if I can. No, we're fine. It loaded. Yeah, I think that Mike saw this. Just like all of us, and we're like, wait, Eternos, like the palace of Eternia, that's crazy. And the way you've actually put it together, oh my god! Like normally in filmation, you just see the great dome of Eternos, you see a few of the spires, you see like wide shots from hundreds of miles away, but you've actually put everything together in this playset type of style. What were you thinking originally when you had put this together?
Well, 100% transparency. I wasn't going to do it. It wasn't one I was going to do. And the main reason for that was at the time, like just coming out of classics, as that was kind of like dwindling off. I still have not recovered from the fact that we never got Hunger the Harpy or Lady Slither or Lysaur, etc. But there was a lot of, and I'm sure you probably remember this, Jay, but there was a lot of friction during the classics time between He-Man and She-Ra fans, with some of the more He-Man only fans saying She-Ra shouldn't be in classics and it should just be vintage characters, and then you'd have the She-Ra fans wanting those characters in it. And for people like me, I've always felt that they were both part of the same universe, and that's what I loved about classics, was it just brought all of those characters together in one style. So out of that kind of animosity between the two camps came a lot of comments about Eternos, like, I don't want that thing, it's pink, and you know, there's always this connotation with pink, that it's girly, and so it wouldn't work in Masters. And I've never subscribed to that. I think, you know, colors are just colors, and you know, we're told blue is for boys and pink is for girls when we're born, but who made that rule? No one. So I kind of always had the inkling that it could be done, but I never thought I'd do it, because I just thought, well, people will hate it. They'll say it's too pink, or it doesn't work in vintage Masters, which is very red and blue orientated. But then my good friend Danielle, also known as Penny Dreadful, challenged me, because it was her dream playset, and she challenged me to do an Eternos Palace. And damn you, Danny, but so I said, okay, I will. But I didn't know if I could pull it off, to be honest, because it is such an enormous, vast, you know, castle. So what I did was kind of looked through the cartoon, looked at various key elements, like what makes the castle really recognizable. And obviously the big dome is the main bit, but then there's all sorts of other little things, like the weird ball-shaped sculpture and the gateway and things like that. So I just tried to incorporate those elements into a clamshell style playset, so that, I mean, it's not identical to what you see in the cartoon, but it captures enough elements from it, I think, that makes you look at it and go, yeah, that's Eternos. So,
but what this allowed for is for someone like Mike to actually look at this and say, I could do that. You know, I can actually like make this. And now you know what, I turn to Mike and I'm like, Mike, what happened here? You've been dreaming for this for so long. How did your thought process, like, what were you thinking when you first saw this as a playset when this showed up on your internet many years ago?
Well, I mean, it was it blew my mind, and obviously thinking about building this thing, it's a thing that you have to think about it. So I don't know. I was in other projects, and then one day I said, "Come on, man, just let's see, start, and let's see where it goes." And I'm the first surprise that I made it. Man, it was for me a surprise to share this live stream with Stu, and I don't know, man. It's like meeting. I don't know, meeting the guy, the man. It's an honor, and I'm a little. I don't know. I'm a little embarrassed because.
Oh, don't be embarrassed.
Why? You've done a tremendous job.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank
I mean,
you,
honestly, this is incredible for us fans. Mike, you've done an incredible service to us. This you literally. It's brought my dreams to come true. And Stu, I don't think I'm out of line by saying this is something I don't think you've ever imagined. This would actually become true.
No, I had a few people message me over the past couple of years and say, have you got this as a 3D file that I can print, or could I do a custom of this, or would you mind if I made a few? And I'm always, the thing that makes me happy is knowing that people share my passion and my ideas. That's why I do it. I love to see people excited, and that's why I started doing play sets and figure concepts way back when, is because there were so many characters in the two universes of both properties that people would go, oh no, that would never work as a classics figure. And I would be like, no, it absolutely would. So I would do it as a figure to show people how it would work. And they'd be like, oh, actually, yeah, no, that works. That looks good. So that's what I wanted to do with this playset. And with the interior, again, what I did was went through the cartoon and tried to find some key locations. And some were in it more than the ones I chose, but they weren't necessarily very visually striking or iconic, or didn't have very much play value. So the ones I chose, like the throne room, obviously had to be in there. And then Man-at-Arms workshop, because play value wise, you know, warriors getting damaged and robots getting short-circuited and needing work and stuff, and vehicles, that seemed like a good play element. And then Orko's bedroom, because it was quirky and memorable, and it also reminds you that it's not just a fortress, it's also a home. And I did have someone actually comment that, oh, you know, why have you put furniture in there? That makes it too much like a Princess of Power playset. And I said, well, no, because for me, the outside of the playset is where you have all your battles and all your action. And then the inside of the playset, much like with Snake Mountain, is where you have your plotting and your drama and your relationships between different characters. So that's what I tried to do.
It's funny how people's conceptions of what. So here's the other thing about what you said earlier, Stu. You will not believe how many people have told me, "Oh, I don't buy She-Ra because I don't play with dolls." You know what I mean? It just blows my mind. I'm like, well, they're not like. Yes, I understand the original characters from back in the day. They had rooted hair. They were marketed towards girls. But you know what? The cartoon, I remember enjoying that so much that I wanted figures of She-Ra. And when the classics came out and actually created them, that blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, I got to start buying these things, because they were just absolutely amazing. And the thing I keep getting in all the comments, and just like what you mentioned, is, oh, it's pink. Everyone says it's the playset is so pink, it's so girly. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, yes, in Filmation, it was kind of a pinkish, you know, burgundy kind of mix, right? But you know what? I love the style. I love the architecture. I love everything that the original designers from Filmation were able to envision for this. And you taking it that extra step and, you know, creating this concept just kind of like sparked the imagination of fans. And then, of course, almost a decade, you know, a few years later, Mike comes in and says, you know what, I'm doing this. I'm actually going to build this thing. And I think, you know what, a lot of people have just been enamored by this, just blown away.
One thing I would say, and it never fails to shock me how basic people can be, but a plastic human is a plastic human. It's whether it's a male or female plastic human is irrelevant. They're all dolls. And it just makes me chuckle. And I guess it's a kind of a throwback from, you know, growing up in the 80s and attitudes at the time and stuff. I know I had She-Ra figures. I know some of my other male friends had She-Ra figures, and a lot of them had to hide them from their dads. My dad didn't like me having them, but my mum was like, he can play with whatever he likes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I just find it so funny that kids are so limited by such ridiculous stereotypes. Like, characters are characters. Whether it's got rooted hair or plastic hair, who cares? It's a plastic human being. Let kids play with it. But
it's funny, you know.
So Jay,
today
about the color.
Go. Yeah.
So I wanna say just the thing that you're saying, that bright pop pink color, it's pure magenta.
Yes, it is.
I mean, it's primary color at its best.
Yes.
So I will say the response of the MOTU fans were about this playset were 90% positive, crazy happiness around it. But there were just the thing that you're saying. There were few negative comments, and all were about the pink color. And they said it's Castle Gay School, too pink for me. Seems like a girl's toy. It's a Barbie toy line. Man,
I think they forget how Prince Adam dressed.
Yeah,
that's the thing I want to say. You said in another video, real men were pink, man.
Yeah.
some
I
guys
love that you
need
did
to pay
that.
attention to the words of wisdom at the end of every filmation episode. Some guys need to rephrase those things, man. I don't know. Stu was right. It's a color, man. Don't be afraid of a color.
Times have changed. I think Stu really did hit the nail on the head. Things are more accepted today. Whether it was on purpose or whether it was by design or whether it was because attitudes changed or what have you. The important thing to take away from this now is that something so beautiful as this, which I guess forgive me, Stu, but I think you took it more as a challenge than you did as an actual kind of.
I did enjoy it. It's just that it was such an enormous job. And I didn't know how people would react. I didn't originally intend to do it. That was all.
No, 100%. But you know what? Look at it now. I mean, I guess it's not exactly a decade, but years later, so many people are still like reacting to it and getting emotions out of it, regardless of whether they're positive or negative. People have just gravitated towards this and are really just enamored by the sheer size of what honestly. There's the other thing. This thing's gigantic. Mike, where do you put this thing? Like seriously, this is in your garage. Where do you put this thing?
In fact, it is in a garage. But
oh my god! Oh my god!
I mean, I live. This is an apartment. This is no a big house. This is an 80. Well, it's a non-small apartment for me, my wife, and my baby daughter. But I mean, it's okay. It's not here, that castle. I had in my parents' house that is bigger, and there was a garage. It's not a garage anymore. It's my workplace for my projects. So it's there, and I wish I had here to show you. But I'll try to make a video or maybe a live stream one day in place. But no, it's impossible. In fact, I only collect Origins. I mean, I collect other things, but in MOTU related, I only collect the Origins toy line. I love it. It's perfect for me. And I had Castle Grayskull, and I'm gonna have Snake Mountain anytime soon. But I had it. I mean, packet and in my baby's room, in the shelf. I cannot having displayed here. So well,
they're just too big. They're just too big, right?
It's too big, but imagine if it was classics scale. It would be like a small car. Which is massive.
Which is exactly the I'm poking at Stu right now because honestly, like seriously, Stu, what were you thinking with this thing? If it was actually,
how can you have an Eternos Palace that isn't big? You just can't. I'm still gutted that Snake Mountain was shrunk from the original prototype shown at Comic-Con.
You're kidding me, Stu. This thing barely fits in my house. I mean, like
I built an extension. I absolutely loved the fact that the mountainside really was a mountain on that prototype. Yes. And I understand why they made it smaller, but I would have preferred to keep it big. I've still got the original photos and I look at them and I'm like, wow, that thing blew me away when they first showed it.
I agree with you. The very first prototype that they made, which they showed off at the San Diego Comic-Con, when Pixel Dan stood next to that thing on YouTube, I was like, oh my god, how are they selling that? Like I was like, my mind just literally crumbled. I was like, that is ginormous. Like that. The first prototype was massive. It was absolutely tower. Did you ever get to stand beside that thing? Because it was
no, it was obviously over in El Segundo, so I didn't actually get to see it in person, which I'm gutted at. I saw Castle Grayskull, but not Snake Mountain.
I think they still have it in the archive somewhere at Mattel because that thing is just absolutely massive. Because that first prototype was actually created by the Four Horsemen for Mattel I guess just coming off of your concept, right? The original one.
No, I think we got. I think it was Nate redesigned it.
Oh, Nate.
Like, they started from scratch and did a kind of translation. And of course, the Icon, I think it's Icon Heroes statue was out as well, which provided them with a lot of inspiration. So I think it was mainly taken from that rather than mine. Mine was just used for the pitch concept. But yeah, I mean, the one thing that drove me to make a really good job of the Eternos Palace design was I remember seeing Eternia in Toys R Us when I was about 10, and I was horrified. I was like, what is that blue thing with a tiger face on it? Like, it didn't make any sense to me, and I hated it, and I didn't want it. And it was £100 in, 1987, 88? Which in those days was a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
So no one had it. Barely anyway. So I never liked it, and I have ordered the Origins one because it's never going to get made again, and the vintage one goes for a fortune. So I'm going to get it. But given the choice between that and the Eternos Palace, I would have gone for the Palace. So the nice thing about seeing all the responses, though, because it has had such an immense response online, is that I really do think if Mattel Creations did a Kickstarter for an Eternos Palace playset, I think it would fly through. I really do.
Yeah, it would have to be Origins, though. I mean, like Mike, it barely fits in your house. Like, it doesn't fit in your house, right? It doesn't. I mean, like, you just said so.
Oh, you said in the last video that I love it, that fans are doing it better. I wish I recorded me a video reaction to that moment where it was overwhelming.
No,
so you said it definitely doesn't fit the classic line, but I think it's the point, and you were 100% right. I mean, I collect the Origins only. I said only Origins, but if I don't know, some people said to me, it's Masterverse scale. Well, kinda, because Masterverse are no much bigger than Origins, but but it's totally Origins oriented playset.
Okay, much like the original. So this is the way I look at these new playsets that are coming out, and actually many fans have said the same thing. You could squeeze classics into these playsets, right? I think with Mattel and Stu, you could probably weigh in on this. I think that they had a plan going in to actually make them cross-play in that idea. Because
to an extent, I know the Eternia playset has been scaled so that you can I've got it to pose with my classics collection because it's the one big playset missing for me from that line.
Sure.
So apart from Fright Zone, I suppose. But yeah, they've made it bigger on purpose so that people can do that, because not every fan is collecting both lines or have collected all three lines even. So yeah.
A lot of reviewers have been taking all the vehicles and test scaling them with the Masterverses. And who's that little guy?
My dog. Sorry, if you wonder why I'm like making movements, I'm not doing anything dodgy.
Is that Beastman? Is that Grizzlor? That's Grizzlor.
It's baby Grizzlor.
Grizzlor's come back. Grizzlor made a cameo appearance. Yeah, because people have been taking the vehicles like Stridor, like the Wind Raider, like the Roton, and it's a tight fit, admittedly, but they do fit. Right, the Masterverse scale does actually fit, and the Masterverse scale is actually a little bit bigger than classic scale. It's amazing how these things work out, and I love that. Right, I really do. And it's funny because this is something else too. This beast, even though as big as it is, right, Origins figures look better on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not that I don't love having all my Club Grayskull figures here. I mean, you see them; they are beautiful. But let me tell you, a Skeletor there, his head hits his Bone Throne's
yeah, that's annoying, right? I've got my Filmation figures on mine, and it is annoying.
But they're beautiful, right? And
the
thing about this is we grew up in an age where play was pretty much up here. Right, in a lot of ways, I envy kids in the technology that they have, but you know what? I do think that if they given enough time, they would love toys. And here's the thing about that too. I always get into arguments with people saying that kids don't play with toys. That's not true. That's actually not true. Let me tell you something, okay? When you have a blackout, okay, when you have a blackout and there's nothing left to do, what do you think? You break out the board games, right? You put some imagination comes out of the woodworks, and it's kind of funny because anytime one of my relatives comes over and they bring over their kids, right? They always look at, like, because I got crap tons of, that's it's a mess in here, but basically they're stuck looking at the stuff around them, right? Again, people are visual, right? People want to touch and feel and do things. They want to play with this stuff, right? And they have their iPads, they have their iPhones or whatever. They will actually put that down if they see something like bright and shiny and different. They'll actually come over and say, "What's that? What's that? What?" And then they're like, "Oh yeah, here, you can play with it." And that's the other thing I love about Origins. Origins is the one collector line, in my opinion, that you can actually share with your kids. Like that's something that I don't think any other line in terms of like being a retro line has been able to accomplish. Maybe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think maybe that too.
Yeah.
But I think that Origins is that beautiful little niche that you can actually do both. Like, kids love banging these things around, and you know what? Because they're only $14 to $18, you're not like, "Oh God, please don't ruin my $200 Mafex figure." You know what I mean? Oh my God, that's 200 pounds for that Hot Toys. Don't touch it. You know what I mean? And toys are made for kids. Right at the end of the day, and I that's why I love the Master Universe Origins line. It's absolutely crazy. But this is one of these rare opportunities that I get, and I want to thank both of you guys for taking some time, because Stu, I know you literally just got off of work. I mean, and
literally.
That must have been crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So thank you guys for both taking the time to be here tonight. I did want to take a little bit of time and take a look at some of these great pictures that Miquel sent me, because this is another one of those rare opportunities we get to ask some questions about how this thing actually came together. Mike, how did you start? First of all, lots of questions coming from people. What is it made of?
Well, as you can see, or I can try to describe you. There's a bunch of materials.
Yeah. What is this white one then? Let's start with that.
That's a dome foam. I don't know that.
Is it styrofoam? Is it styrofoam?
Styrofoam. Sure. That's right.
Okay, so that was the styrofoam. Did you have to buy that, or did you sculpt it yourself? How
No, I buy it on the local store.
Okay. So
and the other coloring materials are Eva foam.
Eva foam, yes.
Eva foam.
The cosplayer's best friend.
Sure. That's because I'm a cosplay.
You're a cosplayer,
cosplayer too.
I would never have thought.
So I know how to treat that material.
That's excellent.
So it's a bunch of thin wood, the Eva foam, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, I
you can see it. You can see it. And
is this spray foam?
Sure.
That's
sure.
Yeah.
In some points, you say it in the video that the kind of different textures. I like to play with it.
I love it.
And
I love it. Like,
I love the way you've done the rocks there, because they do look very like vintage MOTU.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
You actually, you know what? It's beautiful that you put it right beside Castle Grayskull, because you can literally tell that they're from the same universe, right? Like, they do not look out of place. And then look at the size difference. I mean, like, oh my God, Stu, this is just ridiculous. Like, my goodness.
Even if you, I mean, in my case, if I try to not go crazy and I try to make it like a toy, like a
Yeah.
you can believe this is a real toy, and in the line of the Origins toy line. So
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what blows me away. Like, obviously, just like any prototyping stage, right? This is built up from, and it's a one off. It's never it like you're not gonna. I suppose if we really had to, but it's too big. You could possibly take some latex molds. Actually, you could do that if you had a vat big enough. You could probably make some latex molds and do a couple of shells out of this thing. But this thing is just beautiful on its own, and again, I love the spray foam technique here, right? Because I love that texture, right? That's what I was saying in the review, that the way you've layered things on, right? Forget about the different materials, but just the different styles of rock. Because when you're digging into a mountain, you're going to encounter soft rock and you're going to encounter hard rock, and you got to be able to work with the two different materials. So I love the way you've realized that here, and obviously the stonework, the masonry work. It's just absolutely beautiful. And if we actually take a look at going back to Stu's original design, if I know where to put it, that's the problem with these things. Where'd it go?
One thing that I really like is that you've kept true to a toy aesthetic, because the really difficult thing with designing a playset is when you're being creative. It's so easy to get carried away with, moss and vines and trees and textures and just go too far. And lots of people with customs and that do go too far, but then it loses its toyetic appeal. Because when you're producing a toy, it has to come out of a mold easily. So it's going to be quite simple. And there was actually way more on that playset originally I had to tone it back because it didn't look like a vintage toy anymore.
Right, exactly. And what I wanted to say here is, if you look at Stu's original design, right? You obviously, Mike, you have to scale back a little bit. I mean, like the winding stairs. I think basically if I may, I think this is pretty much where you decided to stop on this version, because you can still build more. I can confidently say that, but. Basically the garage, if you will, is missing, and the secret entrance over here, right? But for the most part, in terms of, let me just actually right there. If we were to do this, I think this is pretty much what we're seeing, plus the entrance, right? But I mean, and maybe the other launch pad or everything. But I think, Stu, it's all here for the most part. You know what I mean? I don't know where you're going to get this globe. What is that, by the way, Stu? I'm wondering what that is exactly.
From my understanding, it's just an art sculpture, as far as I know. But I will digress to some of my community friends if they know better. My friend Yuka might know. He's pretty good with this stuff.
Yeah, because it is beautiful. But again, I think, and this comes into to exactly what you were saying earlier, Stu. Sometimes you got to know when to stop. Right, and that's very, very important. And I think just me saying, I think Miquel knew exactly when to stop, because as you said, you can get carried away. For example, the new Star Wars playset for the Endor bunker, they put moss over it. They've done a whole bunch of different things, and there's a danger in that, and there's a lot of paint spill, and a lot of fans tend to really complain about that. But in my opinion, they could have done without the moss, and people could just add their own little moss if they really want to get or detail oriented. But in this case, I really do think Mike knew exactly where to stop and how much he wanted to add into it. And I gotta say, looking at these behind the scene pictures, it's just a treat, because we rarely ever get to see these types of shots. How long did it take you to paint this thing, Mike? This must have been a long time.
No, man, painting is the fastest and the most enjoyable part of the process, man.
You have the entire arch. You have the entire color palette here. This is
what I love though is that if you pan back out, Jay, if you look at the colors there, they perfectly complement Grayskull. So yes, it's pink, but it's exactly the toning with the purple is beautiful. That's exactly how I think Mattel would have spray painted it in the factory. Yeah. You just made it tie in perfectly next to Grayskull. You really
absolutely have. And it's got that just like Grayskull. It has this neon-esque, appearance, right? But that's the whole point of a toy. It's a toy.
It's a
Right,
toy.
it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be different, and you're gonna for the cost of a grayskull when it goes on sale here in North America, you're gonna get guys who just pick up 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and they're gonna like customize the heck out of it, right? But there's just something beautiful about the toy itself. You know how simple it is and how wonderfully laid out it is. Mike, where is this? Is this your parents' place or is this your house?
No, this is the garage.
This is the garage.
Not the garage anymore.
What kind of garage
Yeah.
have you got? Mine doesn't look
It looks like a living room.
Where are the spider webs?
Yeah. Where's everything else that needs to be in a garage? No, this looks like a livable space.
If you see in this 20 minutes earlier, it's a complete war zone.
I thought this was an art installation in itself. You know, I know it's a bunch of paint cans, but I was like, oh my god, this is like I thought this was a studio. I thought this was a production.
It is
studio.
sometimes
Okay.
when you don't need to to change oil to the car. Yes, it is.
Oh my god. See, this is the illusion, right? This is the illusion. Like if I think everyone's seeing this shot, right? Because this shot was on Instagram. Everyone was like, "Oh my god, that's a wonderful studio. I'd love to work there." You know what I mean? But if you head to the other side, you see the car. You see.
Sure. You see the bicycles, the motorbikes, the ping pong table.
That's just crazy.
I want to know when Mike's going to start on the Fright Zone.
On the Fright Zone. Oh my god! Don't. I was thinking that when you brought that up, I was like, don't give Mike any ideas. He's probably going to start the Fright Zone pretty soon.
Do it.
But I don't have more space. Not even in the garage.
Yes.
That picture
Out, by the way, on my on the interior Fright Zone concept that I did, the slime pit that's in there. I didn't do that. A customizer did, but I added it in, and I have credited them on the design. It was years ago, so I can't remember their name now. I do apologize. But they just did it so perfectly, there was no way I could beat it. So I was like, well, I'm never going to beat that. So instead, I'll honor them by including theirs. So
yeah, I had it. Where did I put it?
again,
it's one of those things. It's hard. I've got so many pictures up right now. It's just
yeah.
Did I send you the Snake Fortress and the Whispering Woods and that?
You did. We'll take a look at those little. We have lots of time, unless you're pressed for time. If you're pressed for time,
I'm okay at the moment.
I'm okay.
Yeah. So we'll. I just wanted to go through a few more of these photos because again, it's very rare we get an opportunity to see. Like, wow, holy crap! How much work was put into this? I mean, this is so. Don't get me wrong, okay? I love the fact that you've done this, but oh my god, this is a step above. You know what I mean? Like I can tell the amount of man hours on this are just pure insanity. Can you tell us what some of these things are, Mike? I know most of it's EVA, but what's this? What are these?
Ducting.
Like I said, that's a piece from the dishwasher that I don't use.
Oh my god,
so, man, you can.
I know what you're talking
you
about.
said in earlier videos. What's this little robot? Man, that's a toy from my baby girl. but I love it, and I said it fits perfectly in Manatarm's lab.
Yeah, there he is, right there.
And let me say, in those projects, in my experience, it's like when you say, "Come on, let's do it," and it's like making a model kit or a Gundam or but without the pieces and without the instructables.
I totally understand it, but you're selling yourself short there. I'm like,
man, but I want to say I got at least the stew concept. That was the all you need to start. Then you think, and that pieces are made piece by piece with Eva foam.
Yeah.
Then prime it and then paint it, and more and a lot of these designs are it exists in Origins Grayskull. This is like it's not 100% the same computer that you can see inside the Castle Grayskull, but it's very similar.
Respect, but that's what I tried to do with the design. Was,
of course,
if you make certain elements similar, like the elevator or the computer console, it just ties it in with that vintage feel.
That's the secret, and Stu did it like a genius in his concept, grabbing that parts that exist and others that not.
Wait a second, Mike. Did you make your own weapons? Is that what I thought? I thought those were the actual weapons from the toys.
It was I was trying, but I'm not satisfied. So no.
Okay.
In the pictures are the original. Okay.
Because
I tried. I tried because my idea was make had the most I mean, those guys, the maximum of them, but in that time I had a month ago I only had one Eternia Palace Guard. So today they come two more, and I made that female Eternian Palace Guard,
which is a great idea, by the way.
Yeah, but because I thought Castle Grayskull brings that sorceress. I mean, well, that figure and exclusive
just like
figure,
right?
And I thought, obviously, I wanted to be Queen Marlena, the exclusive figure.
Yes.
But I thought, man, do it now, and later maybe Queen Marlena custom, or why don't Mattel bring us a Queen Marlena official? I wish.
Yeah. I love this, Stu. What are your thoughts on this? Because honestly,
I'm such an amazing job that actually looks like some sort of cadaver hand. So I'm quite terrified of it.
Can I say one thing about this concrete piece?
Of course.
Minutes ago, before we entered this live stream, Griffin Newman, Mr. Orko himself, follow me, and
really,
and this, I swear, and said, "Keep up the amazing work."
Oh,
and
beautiful.
And then said, "Can you sell me that Orko bed?" So now I had to make another one and ship to this guy.
That's amazing. Make sure he takes a photo with it.
Of course, I'm not gonna accept any money from him, but I'm a picture. It will be nice. That's crazy. That's crazy. That the response of the people, Jay and Stu, it was unbelievable.
So much love for what you've done.
But let's be honest.
What you've done.
I didn't actually physically, because I know how hard custom stuff is. It's so hard, and it takes and I'm really impatient. If I do an illustration or paint a picture or something, I have to finish it that day. I can't come and do a little bit every day.
I feel you, man.
Yeah, hats off to anyone who has that patience. But one thing I never got to design, so maybe it's something you can create for yourself, is originally I was going to do a weapons rack for the throne room, an imperial weapons rack with the falcon at the top, all in gold.
Oh man!
To hold King Randall's staff and Marlena's staff and sword, etc.
Challenge accepted.
There you go.
And you know what? You say that that you know that you're amazed by people's reaction. We are gobsmacked. We had no, like, when I wish I had my reaction when somebody sent me the Instagram post and said, "Jay, you got to look at this," and I literally fell over. I'm not even joking. I fainted. I was like, "Oh my god, this is real! Like, this thing is real!" And I was like, "There's no freaking way, right?" And then I saw, because you only made one, right? And I was like, "Wait a second, this is only 50% done." Like, I'm happy with this. Like, I was okay. I was okay with just the dome. And then all of a sudden, wait a second, he's going to make the rest? And I just kept getting, then you start showing off the second part. I was, oh my God, this is insane. And, it just kept getting good. And I held off. I held off on reporting because you were like, all right, I'm 60% done. I'm 80% done. And I was like, I'm going to hold off on my next review because I want to see what this looks like. And, then I did my this, everyone's doing, like, he's doing it better. He's doing it better because that, obviously, Stu, you were in the industry, during this time, but in a lot of ways, it still was a fan effort, when you created this one, right? I mean,
I really want to say something actually, because a lot of the time there's a bit of an attitude in fandoms where people go, oh, it's just fan art. And actually what I want to say is fans do the best art because fans love it. If there's nothing that frustrates me more as a toy collector, it's when you see a toy line get rebooted, like Masters did with New Adventures or Monster High or whatever, and they've brought in a brand manager who's got loads of experience in marketing or loads of experience in creative direction. They don't actually know the property that they're dealing with. They don't understand the characters. They don't understand the fan base. They don't know why they want some D-list character that was in one episode, like Chakotay, for example. Yeah. But when you bring fans on board, they understand all that stuff and they get right to the heart of it. They know what people want. And if you look at even classics, Scott was a huge MOTU fan, not so much a pop fan, but a huge MOTU fan. He loved the 2000X series. If you look at Revelation, that's got a load of fans working on it.
Yes.
Some friends of mine. And, and the 2000X, like people like Emiliano and Val, etc., who were brought in to work on that. When you get fans on board, they know what makes that property work and they don't change it up too much because that's the problem. People always want to put their own stamp on it and then they ruin what it is that fans loved in the first place.
Yeah, 100%. A lot of people, a lot of people give flack give a lot of too much, in my opinion, too much flack to Scott. And you know what? I look at it this way. Okay, we're okay. Well, me. Okay, I'm gonna say me because I'm a personality, right? I'm a personality. I'm a talking head on the screen, right? In order for me to get attention out of people, sometimes I got to do crazy things, right? Sometimes I gotta say things that will get your attention, and then that makes you listen to me for a little bit, like the 5 minutes I need you to listen.
You got lynched for that yesterday.
Yeah,
I think because you put the words "it's real" above Eternos Palace.
Oh my God. But it is. But see, okay. So let me explain how that works. Okay?
But it is.
There's the thing. Let me explain how that works. And the thing is that yes, I am getting rightfully so. I am getting some pushback on that. But the truth is, it is real. It is a real. See, it's a double entendre. Right, that was the whole. It's a double meaning at the end of the day, right? Yes, of course, it's not a reality from.
It's not official, but
yes,
it's
not official at all.
Product. It's not an official product, but it is real. It does exist. So I'm not lying, but at the same time, I gave you a tease of something which said, "Oh crap. What the heck is this?" And you'll click on the thing. And when you find out that it is actually real, you either have two reactions. You're either going to go, "Holy crap, that's incredible," or "What the F, Jay?" Like this is cool, but this isn't real. Again, that's the thing. But it is real, right? That like Mike has made this a reality, and I explained that in the video. Again, guys, take it as you will. Like beat me over the head. I welcome that. Right, but that's exactly what Scott is doing as well, right? Scott is explaining how the industry works, which is something people just don't know. Like, okay, this costs Super 7, right? Super 7. This is I guess at the time it was $45. Okay, $45 US. People have been screaming up and down ever since Super 7 has gotten the license and said, "Why the heck are you charging $15 more for these figures?" Because when Scott had it, it was I guess they were coming out at like what was it, maybe $30, something like that. I can't remember exactly what the price was, but they were nowhere near the
originally, weren't they? And then it
35.
went to 20.
Yeah, this was an extra $10, right? And people were like, "Why? Why is it? Why? Because they don't have the mailing list of Scott anymore, right? They don't have everybody who bought into this originally, right? So this, I think maybe, and I make this estimation all the time. I think if they make 1,500 of these, they're what's it called? Brian is super happy. I think that on average, one of these outside of BBTS and outside of Entertainment Earth and their other partners, I think basically for themselves they're looking at 800 pieces maybe, right? And then everybody else who orders in bulk, maybe they get it to 2,500, which is obviously their MOQ. People just don't understand the idea of minimum quantity order, and the fact that if you have less than 1,000 pieces of this, you're looking at personal cost. You're looking at $25 by yourself. You know what I mean?
Just as an indication, I mean, I think that they're probably in the few thousand as a product run, simply because to do one action figure is $150,000 plus. It's probably about 175,000 now.
That's the key.
To even recoup those costs, it's crazy. But I said this to someone yesterday on social media. They were saying that Eternia costs too much. Well, why does Eternia cost this and Snake Mountain's $80? And I said, it's very, very simple. The bigger the unit run, the cheaper the unit cost. If you're making 20,000, you can sell them for peanuts. But if you're only making 10,000, you have to double the price you sell them for.
Exactly. It's economies of scale, right? It's basic economics, which we studied in high school. Now I'm terrible at math myself, but at the end of the day, I still understand the concept of if you buy in bulk, you spend less. I mean, that's why these bulk shops, right? If you're willing to take home 2 kilograms worth of rice, right, you're going to spend a lot less than you would a small tin, right? I mean, that's just the way it works. But people refuse to, not refuse, but as you said, Stu, earlier, people are kind of obtuse that way. They don't want to understand how these things work and why the world runs the way it does. I mean, and I try to explain this to people that Mattel okay, here. We got Stratos here, right? And this is a bad example probably because nobody was able to pick up Stratos. But anyway,
Stratos, what are you talking about?
Basically.
I got it right here.
Thank God. Thank God.
Jay's the only one that doesn't have Stratos.
But anyway, Zodak here, since we're all getting these things, since I'm getting all these things wrong, there's like 10, there's a minimum 10,000 right here. Minimum, right? We're actually talking about
Mattel's lowest number of product run.
Yeah, we're talking probably 50,000 probably, right? Worldwide. That number is astronomical, right? Compared to a measly 1,500, right? Think about the economies of scale that we're talking about here. Like, that's why this one's only, at the time when it was released, $14.99 US, right? That's crazy. That is absolutely, this at the time when it was sold, and actually even still today, as a collector line, this is still the most affordable collector line in existence right now. Right?
It might be in the US, but in the UK, the prices have rocketed.
Oh my God! Yeah, I know. I apologize.
I think it's $23.99 a figure now. That's pounds. So you're talking about around nearly $30.
Yeah, nearly $30.
That's for a normal one. For like a deluxe one like Snakeface, they are £30. So you're talking about $35, $36. Yeah.
Well, I mean, anywhere in the Commonwealth is similar. We're paying $22.50 for this right now, right? Which for you is still nothing. That I think that's what, maybe 18 pounds, right? maybe less. I'm not trying to flex here. I'm not trying to flex. Anyway. No, seriously though, like people just have to understand, or we try our best to help people understand, and that's what Scott's whole channel is about, getting people to understand how the business works. But unfortunately, because fans are fans, they tend to take what Scott was doing at the time, what he said on message boards. Again, he tries to help, but people take it the wrong way, and they're like, oh, you're.
I can honestly say, having known Scott, that he is a really great guy, but I think he's one of those people, and much like myself, you either love him or you hate him. And sometimes some of the things Scott has said have landed badly, but his heart is genuinely in the right place, and he genuinely loves Masters of the Universe.
100%. And I see that. I see.
Yeah, and I remember saying to someone probably about 10 years ago, who I won't name, but they were kicking off about Scott and how he doesn't respect the storylines and he's changing the canon on the back of the card. And I said, look, there are a zillion different canons for He-Man and She-Ra. Like, follow the one you like because none of them tally. He's just trying to do something to bring it all together in one universe. If you don't like it, just ignore the bios.
Mhm.
And secondly, all this stuff won't matter in 10 years' time when you look at your shelves and you've got 200 odd figures of virtually every character from the property on your shelf. It won't matter what Scott said in a forum post or on a podcast or whatever. Just be grateful that, you know, he's actually brought this to us, because I can honestly say, having seen it from the other side, he was battling so hard to keep that line going because it wasn't a big moneymaker.
Yeah.
And Matty Collector wasn't, this gigantic multi-billion-dollar income generator for Mattel. So he really was fighting hard to make it happen, and he really was passionate about it.
And that's why I just don't understand the calm down, Brazil.
Every time
She was attacking the building. It's okay, don't worry.
it's probably just Amazon. Don't
Just
worry.
send the whole troopers, and it'll be fine. It's okay. It's
He's
okay.
always gonna have the last word.
That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. And as I said, I do find it hilarious that people, again, fans are fans. I think that's really what it boils down to. Fans are fans, and they just whenever again, you say something bad about your favorite, somebody says something bad about your favorite football team, you're literally about to punch them out, right? I mean, that happens all the time, right? But
I mean, not for me, but we'll go with it.
okay, sure. You're a rugby guy. Sorry, you're
violent, aren't you, Jay?
are you a cricket? Is it cricket then, or is it
I'm just not really into sport.
not really a sports thing then?
No.
Yeah, much like the rest of us, you're geeks and nerds over here. I'm just
Like garbage pail kids cards still.
huge
I mean,
into
ours
sport,
is-
well, but as you know, basically, you know better than anybody else. You won't go near a pitch because just how crazy people can be.
Oh yeah,
Right?
like what's that about?
Like, oh my god! Like I remember during the World Cup, I remember seeing kids in the stands. I'm like, you guys are crazy. Why are you bringing your kids to a pitch? Like, that's insane. Like you guys are like completely mental. And I was like, oh my god, it's just nuts. When people get rowdy and people get when their team is losing, things just get out of hand. It's just ridiculous, right? Same thing here with hockey. It's just stupid. It really is. You do not want to be downtown when somebody else's team is losing, and again, it's just nuts. But I think that's the same vitriol that Scott has received, and it's not. There are certain, again, as you said, either you love him or you hate him, right? Sometimes people can say inflammatory things. Sometimes, at least in the views of the fans, right? In the periphery of the fans, it's like, how dare you? How dare you say that about this figure?
Oh, yeah, it
right?
used to get crazy. Like, I can honestly remember back when we were moderating Matty Collectors forums and stuff. People like Scott would actually get we'd all get death threats, but Scott would get death threats because someone had ordered their figure 48 hours ago and it still hadn't arrived. Like, it went really extreme, like really bad. It was quite toxic at times. On the other hand, I do appreciate, so for example, I know he did a video recently which talked about the fact that, was it Target? One of the supermarkets had received notice saying Masters of the Universe had been cancelled, and so the whole line was over and stuff. Anyone who works in that retail sector knows that they'll say the current product run is cancelled, and then what they do is they put those items on sale because they're stocking the next product wave,
Sure.
which is exactly what that was about. Unfortunately, that then got taken as the whole line's cancelled, and then that sparked a whole backlash. So then I feel awful because I'm like, oh, Scott, no, don't say anything. Because, he is a good, like I say, he is a good guy, but, some people love him, some people hate him. And unfortunately, some people are just waiting to have a go at him as well. Any reason they get,
There's the key, right? There's the key. So, as a personality on a social media platform, you have to choose what you're going to say, right? And you can either be passive, you can be aggressive, or you can literally just go ahead and get on the streets and put your boxing gloves on and get ready for those fights, right? And the way Scott does it is kind of tongue in cheek. You know what I mean? He puts in little asides here and little jokes and stuff like that. But people tend to take those things way too seriously, right? As you said, it should never. You know what is wrong with people? How dare you threaten somebody's life? Like even as a puerile joke, that is ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like it's just absolutely crazy. And anybody who actually threatened the life of the president, you're nuts because you will actually get arrested. That's actually a crime. Okay, like that's something people got to watch themselves. Like this is something. Yes, we live in a free society. Yes, there's freedom of speech. But at the end of the day, let's just be civil to each other. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like don't.
I think the trouble is with the 2020s is that people have just forgotten how to be nice. They've forgotten how to have a conversation. It's either you agree with me or you're my enemy, and there's no nuance anymore. People can't have a discussion. And I actually had some how do I put this? Some religious people knock on my door today wanting to talk about the Bible.
Sure.
And I ended up having a 20-minute conversation with them because I know that people slam the door in their face and scream abuse at them and stuff. And I thought, well, I'm actually not going to do that. I'm going to actually engage in a meaningful debate and see where they sit on certain things. And it was interesting. We actually had a really good conversation.
Yeah. It's amazing if you take the time to listen to somebody, right? And actually talk it out like we used to,
Yeah.
Sure. We would get to fights in the playgrounds, He-Man's better than She-Ra or whatever. But pardon me. But at the end of it, we're people. We're just freaking people. Like these are freaking toys. Calm down.
Yeah, like seriously. There's a book out at the moment called Why Everyone Goes Straight to Outrage. And I'm going to read it, but it looks really good. And it's just talking about the fact that social media, because people aren't having a two-way conversation one-on-one anymore, you'll have 50 posts all screaming about something. People then just start screaming back. And it's a real shame because at the end of the day, especially with this property, we've all been fans for like 40 years and we still love it. And people are still buying it and still creating customs or artwork or whatever because we love it. And actually that should bring people together, not divide them.
Oh, 100%. Mike, have you noticed, a type of, just how's your experience been with this? Like obviously you've had positive feedback, but there have been some negative feedback. Like, but has there been like just terrible people? Like, have they just been absolutely terrible?
No, as I said, I can say that 99% of the feedback was love and positive and where do I get it and shut up and take my money and and I love it and I love everything and but besides the issue about the color, and there was one guy that said that was outraged. No, the first part was perfect, but the second part, why do you put Orko's room? Why do you rid of the kitchen? And
poor Chef Alan. Poor Chef Alan.
Yeah. Well, also
that cake's never getting made now. It's just not happening.
I don't know. I just thought you got to make the kitchen with the fire. No, man, all dungeons and come on. But this concrete comment, I respond. Thank you for the feedback, because I believe in keeping the debate, but in terms of with no bad words, I mean clean. But some guy responded to this guy and said, what the fuck are you saying? If you don't have any positive thing to say, fuck you. And I DM'd the guy and I said, I can do it myself, but can you please delete the comment? Because I believe in the debate.
I do love that someone just commented that, here come the politics. And that confused me because I'm like, since when is being nice to each other and just talking openly as people been about politics? It's truly just being nice people.
You know what? People tend like everything seems to be turning into politics these days. So I look at this as just a discussion, right? And I hate politics. Like what I'm talking about, what we're talking about here, is just basic human respect. You know what I mean? Just freaking be nice to each other, like or agree to disagree. Forget about everything else. If you don't like what I'm saying, just say, "All right, dude, that's it. I'm out," and just go. You know what I mean? You don't
That's
agree.
what freedom of speech is all about. It's not actually about like screaming opinions at each other. It's about actually going, do you know what? I don't agree with that, but that's okay. You do you.
Yeah, but you know what, Mike? The thing about what happened there, people will come to your defense. It's amazing. The community itself self-polices itself in a lot of ways, because honestly, there are people who are just trolls, right? And they just do that just to get a rise out of you. But it's amazing how many people will just say, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, just get out of here, man!" Like, and that happens all the time. But I will actually, you know what? Since we brought that up, I'm just gonna go ahead and roast Stu here for a second, just because. Where is it?
I mean, I've been there before, but
right here. Stu, what the heck were you thinking?
What? The kitchen.
What the heck were you thinking?
So one of the things, so much like Mike thinking about having
Alan, hold on, I just want to get my word in here before you explain. I just want to get my word. Poor Chef Alan. The criminals, or the mutants who are, and that is one disgusting jail cell. Oh my god! Like does he test out his newest creations on these inmates? Like, well,
I think it's custard.
and I have to wonder about Chef Alan always taking the verbal abuse from these guys in the cell, is saying, "You suck, Chef Alan. Unless you nearly poisoned me last time," because he's preparing their meals too, right? Like,
I imagine that the Silence of the Lambs scene. What are you cooking, chef?
I knew I wanted. So obviously, there's only so many levels I could include with the sheer size of it, and I knew I wanted to put Orko's bedroom in there, since I thought it was kind of an iconic nod to the show. And there wasn't enough Filmation in the vintage line, in my opinion, because Filmation He-Man was the real He-Man to me.
Yes.
So why do people keep mentioning politics? We're not talking about politics. We're talking about Chef Alan's kitchen. So I really wanted to have a nod to Secret of the Sword in there. And so I thought, what better way to do that than include the cake that Skeletor's minions, carried in disguise. But to do that, I needed to have the kitchen area, but I also wanted to have a cell. So I kind of made it to allude that you go down a corridor and that's like the entrance to the cells there. And then you've got the kitchen on the right, so that you would get the Chef Alan figure with it. But yeah, I know a lot of people don't like it. And actually, Mike, I really like it.
I love it.
I love it too.
I love what you did with the way you did the cells, though. That looks absolutely brilliant.
No, the thing is that when you get real and get to combine elements and say, okay, but if I made a door here, what's on the other side, and how, and that's the reason that I get rid of some things and I made another things. It's the when you find it, it's where you think how I made this. But I love it. Why not?
Yeah, no, I love it too. I love the juxtapositioning of something so more what's it called? Just like terrible mixed into something so wonderful, and then of course my mind starts to wander. I'm like, and somebody actually, you know what? It's funny. Somebody who was it that said it here? Where is it here? Oh, Unicron's Left Nut, which is a hilarious, always a great character. He never shares the secret recipe for the stew. Stew. What's in the stew? What's in the stew tonight, Chef Alan?
Let's not answer that question.
Where'd
my plan, like when thinking of it in 3 dimensions, was that behind that cell door there, it's not actually a cell. There would be a sticker which showed steps going down, and then you'd have eyes and stuff in the darkness. So it's like a dungeon. So you're like going under the castle.
Got you.
But to actually include that would have made it too enormous.
No, 100%. But it's just this wonderful little nod, because again, I love the fact that as much as you want to put into something, you gotta, as you said, you gotta know where to stop, right? But you still manage to sneak in that tiny little thing, and that cake is too small, by the way. That thing should be.
I know, right?
Gigantic. That thing should be huge. That thing should be massive.
Yeah.
It's just it's too late to go back now, but just absolutely wonderful, wonderful work. Mike, getting back to you. How many man hours did this take? Like how, if you were actually to calculate, between weekends, between holiday. First of all, when did you work on this thing? It definitely was not an everyday process.
No.
How long did you work on this?
Weekends. I mean, the big work, it's made weekends. Obviously, I can spray paint here, so that I had to do it in the exterior. And I've been able to make the small pieces, the small accessories, but all and I said before, the workplace, it's a complete mess after I'm doing it. So the first to complete it was the last month, and not every day, not at all.
I've been following the process the whole way through. My friend sent me the first picture that you posted. It was like, look, someone's making. Stop it! Jeez.
There's a battle between Grizzlor and Beastman. Chill, boys.
That's Grizzlor. Beastman was on the other side.
Yeah.
I've never done that before. I'm actually really shocked. I don't know why they've done that.
It's our voices.
Maybe. They want your attention. They want your attention, Stu. They're like, Daddy, pay attention to me.
This one's on heat at the moment, so she's being a bit of a nightmare.
See that's Grizzlor right there. The other one.
She's the variant, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like I figure it must have taken weeks for you. And again, Stu, you were saying that you were following.
I'm just going to put one of them outside.
All right, no worries.
No, I post the pictures as soon as I complete a part. I posted the updates. And let me say that your videos and everyone's response was fuel to complete this project, man. It was I need to do it, and I need to hurry up and do it. So
thank you, Mike. That's so.
No, thank you.
That's so nice of you. But honestly, I'm completely amazed. Like, what was your first reaction when you started seeing this, Stu? Like when you first saw it?
I mean, when my friend sent to me, said, "Look, someone's making your Eternia design," and I didn't believe that. I was like, no, they just make, because obviously the dome was done, and it hadn't. I don't think it had been painted at that point. And I was like, no, they're just making their own Eternia, and I didn't think it was. And then it wasn't until later on when I saw the throne room and stuff. I was like, oh, actually, yeah, no, that is my design. And then I was just blown away. I've been sharing it with friends and stuff on Facebook. So no, I was really touched. It's always nice to know that people like your ideas.
100%, me too. I was again, just had that huge swelling in my, and again, I wish I had. You would have seen me fall over. I literally fell over. I was like, I literally just like died. I was like, all right, I'm dead. I can die happy now. Like somebody's brought this to life. It's real. And again, that's why I made that thumbnail. But it's just one of those things where this is the rare instance where somebody's concept actually has come full circle and somebody's actually made it. It's just beautiful. Thank you, Mike, thank you so much for that. I did want to say huge thanks to, where did he go? Come back here. There he is. Danny. Thank you, Danny, for introducing Stu to us. Like Dan, I think Danny's the one who actually got us in touch. And yeah, just okay, so Stu, you don't really have a you're not like me who's an idiot and like puts my face out there. right? Um, you know, just because of that, why don't you give us a little bit of background about yourself? Like you just mentioned that you did work for Mattel for a time, so give us a little bit of background about yourself, if you will.
Geez, where do I start? Um, so I've been working in creative direction and marketing for years and years. I worked in the music industry for years. And I've worked on various projects and stuff, and just loads of creative stuff, really. And then I set up a Facebook group years ago called Shadow Weaver's Realm, which there was a lot of bigotry, lots of racism, lots of homophobia, etc. in the fan base at the time. And I know a lot of people were leaving heman.org, which was like the main go-to. So I set that up so that people had a safe space where they could go and not be attacked for their identity or who they were or the color of their skin or whatever. And then it just kind of spiraled from there, just talking to other creative people in the fan base and sharing ideas and stuff. And I created a cartoon series and some children's books all around anti-bullying. It's something I feel really strongly about. And that won an award, and I've won some other awards. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell. But I don't really put myself out there a lot in that sense. And I didn't tell anyone that I was Catra's Wrath for many, many years, actually, just simply because of all the death threats and stuff that everyone was getting at the time. I'm quite a private person. I just preferred to keep it that way.
You know what not again. Some people are going to say, "Oh, you're back into politics." No, that's not. This is being a human being. This is being a person. And since when? I'm just, you know what? People have always. I faced my fair share of discrimination. You know what I mean? I'm not. You know, I was funnily enough, I was the only Chinese kid in my school here in Canada, right at the time, right, back in the 80s. And yeah, I got beat up. I got bullied, right? And that helps to shape who you are, unfortunately, right? But instead of taking that little ball of anger and, you know, like letting it fester and make myself bitter and you know, worse, I chose to just say, hey, you know what, you don't like me, that's fine. But at the end of the day, I got to live here too. You know what I mean? And because of that, I'm going to be me, right? And because I'm me, I love toys, I love cartoons, and you know what? Anybody who likes that, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And the whole idea of, and I love what's happening now. You know what I mean? Just as you said, Stu. You know, you're writing books about anti-bullying. I live that. You know what I mean? You've lived that, right? Discrimination, all that stuff. Admittedly, I don't feel as strongly probably as you do. Unfortunately, I'm just one of those guys who likes to live my life, and I'll do what I need to do, right? I'm not saying that's any better or any worse, but all I'm saying is you do you, I'll do me, and let's just get along, right? Like we're people. We're just freaking people. Like it doesn't matter if you like someone of the same sexual orientation. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, red, blue, black. It doesn't matter. Like we're all fucking people. Like that's really what it is. And
I find it hilarious too in this fan base where you've got characters that are like, I've got blue skin and green skin, red skin and purple skin. I mean, the whole message from He-Man and She-Ra was about being kind to people and stuff like that. So I kind of find it interesting when the fan base does get a bit toxic at times, because I'm like, well, hang on, that's not even what the show's about. Do you even understand it? But yeah. Anyway, we'll get accused talking about politics if we talk about being nice people.
You know what? I don't give a shit.
What would you guys, if you could have one playset in Origins out of anything in the whole kind of property, like what would it be?
So it's funny you should say things like that, because the Eternia actually did come to pass. That was shocking, right? Did you see that coming, Stu, at all? Like that Eternia would actually?
No, actually, I heard a rumble from one of my friends who's still in the industry that they might be thinking of it, but I was like, nah, they won't do that because it won't sell. But of course, Mattel Creations allows them to do things in a smaller product run.
Yes.
But unfortunately, at very expensive prices. But it's better to have them than not, I say. At least you got a choice. It's better to have choice than no choice.
Yeah. Mike, what would be your dreams? You've already made your dream. What other playset would be your dream project next?
right now, oh, so I thought I was mute. And right now, I only can think on enjoying that Eternos Palace and finishing that 1% of small things to complete it. I don't know, man. I don't know. In fact, I want to have in my hands the Snake Mountain Origins playset. I know it's not perfect,
It's coming.
but for me, it's a good catch. So
Yeah,
I'm just hoping.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
For myself, I'd have to say that you made something. You both of you, Stu and Mike, you made my dreams come true this year, right? That obviously, Stu, I've seen your photo floating around everywhere, and I loved it, right? And I still love all your designs. I love all your designs, and I'm so glad that Mike, you brought that to reality. If I was to choose another playset, which would be my very next, unfortunately, the truth is, I want freaking Castle Grayskull because I didn't collect. I missed out. I missed out on that stupid.
What, the Origins one or the Classics one?
Yeah, no, I have five classics. I found them for 2 cents. But anyway, not classics. Sorry, Origins. I found 5 of them for 2 cents. Anyway, that's a different story entirely. But no, classics. I need a classics.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good, but it's so expensive. Oh my god!
And I bet when you think that they were doing them at discount for $150.
At one point, where I'm kicking myself is, so basically, a little bit of background. I completely missed out on the. I came in at the tail end of classics, okay, and by that time, Super 7 had already taken over the line.
Oh wow, that is late.
Yeah, it's so late. And then I realized, oh my god, they actually made a Castle Grayskull. I lost my mind, and then I found out not even a month ago before I found out, BBTS, Big Bad Toy Store, had a fire sale, and they were liquidating them for like $150. I lost it. I was like, are you out of your freaking mind? I can't believe I lost out on that. And every year since, I've always been thinking to myself, okay, this year I'll look. And every single year it's gotten more and more and more expensive. And I'm literally kicking myself. I am at this point, I've literally started asking some of my friends who do 3D art and saying, all right, we're just gonna build this thing ourselves. Like, let's just go ahead and build this. Like I'm getting, and there's another creator who I highlighted, Mike, you'll recognize that I highlighted another creator, Mr. T. He goes by Mr. T from Germany on Instagram. Guys, please check out his artwork. Just absolutely incredible. He made a full scale classics Grayskull, and it's literally. I
saw that. It was amazing. Amazing.
Ridiculous. And then he one-upped himself and made a full, an in-scale classics Snake Mountain. Where do you put this stuff? Like
inside of that Snake Mountain with the lava pool in the throne room is
just ridiculous.
Amazing.
Just ridiculous. I hope to have him on with all you guys again. I want to get all of us, all the creators back into one room to try and share our experiences, because seriously, this is just like, as I said, Stu, I think it's fair to say that was a fan art. You know what I mean? What you did for this, that's fan art. Mike, yours is a fan effort. I'm going to go ahead and say, and you know what, you don't have to forgive me, Mattel, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Fans are doing it better. Fans are doing it better. But then again, if you actually had to produce one of these things, this would be on Mattel Creations, I think $700 to $800 for a Mattel creation.
Probably. I mean, you just mentioned there that the Classics Castle Grayskull now goes for over what, $1,000?
On average US. Average US, it's about $1,100 US. Like wow. That's the.
So when you think about how Snake Mountain, how that was made in such a smaller run and was so much more, imagine how much that will be worth in 10 years' time.
That's the insane. I couldn't. I had to make room. So here's the stupid thing about that year. In the same year, I'm just gonna have to. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to center myself. In the same year that this beast was announced, Hasbro went ahead and decided to announce this beast. Right here,
yeah,
this freaking beast right here, and at the time, I was like, I had to choose between my children. Uh, I had to, I was like, no, I have to choose between my children. So I was like, oh God, I can only choose one. I gotta get Snake Mountain. I gotta get Snake Mountain. And I was in tears. I was literally crying like a little girl. And I was like, so after I dropped 6 bones on this thing, then I was like, okay, I guess I'll move on. Then Unicron didn't make its funding. So I was like, oh God, no one's gonna get it. I was so sad. And then Hasbro, and this is the only time, the one and only time Hasbro's done this, they put an extension on Unicron for 3 months. 3 freaking months. And I was like, oh my God, it's possible now. And I was like, I'm gonna be eating Kraft dinner for the rest of my life. Like that's what I was actually thinking. And yeah, I was out almost $1,200 in 3 months. Like it was insane. Wow. It was pure insanity. And that was US. Like think about that, because it was more like $1,500 Canadian. It was really, and that's all up front. There was no layaway. There was no payment. Oh, wow. There was nothing.
You just reminded me about something with the Eternia pre-order period. Do you remember that when they put up the Origins Eternia, if you backed it within the first, was it 2 weeks, you got the King Grayskull figure?
Yes.
And then they added the Keklar figure and the MOTU.
Yeah.
And if they got to Keklar, everyone who backed it to that point would get a King Grayskull.
It was a flop.
And then there was a huge backlash from a lot of people saying, wow, I subscribed in the first 2 weeks, so I should be the only one that has the King Grayskull and no one else should have it. And I thought, well, A, not everybody had the money to hand in the first 2 weeks because they might not have been paid. And 2, you're actually doing yourself over because you'll get an extra free figure, which you can resell later for loads of money if you want.
100%.
But you're so determined to have something that someone else doesn't have that you'll quite happily give that up. It just didn't make sense to me. I just don't get it.
What it really boils down to is just human nature, right? I want something that you don't have, right? That's what it, and that's unfortunately the type of attitude that's always brought society down. It's just and Kron's left. No, we weren't singling you out, brother. That's not what we were doing. We're just people tend to think even when you talk about something as small as I keep hitting this basic human respect, people will twist that into politics.
Yeah, they will.
You mentioned politics. It wasn't you. I wasn't aiming anything at you, and I apologize if you took it that way. But trust me, brother. We love you. We love you here. Okay. First of all, you are Unicron, so not you couldn't make any of us agree. Even
I don't know where the right one is. Like
that's the point. He kind of he destroyed the other one in that. Oh, Danny's right. Actually, Danny's right. I would love the Crystal Castle. And on that note, why don't we go ahead and embarrass Stu here a little bit more? Well, I would truly love the Crystal Castle. And let's see here. Where is the Crystal? There it is. Okay. So Stu, this is gorgeous. And do not take this as a challenge, Michael. Don't take this as a challenge. Okay, this is not a challenge, but this is just gorgeous. Oh my God. There's Light Hope, the Crystal Palace. Just oh my goodness. I love and people forget that this was actually made, right? People forget that this is actually a playset.
Yeah, the original one obviously had the right hand side there, which has been slightly altered, but not much, and then a different left hand side. So what I tried to do is what I did with the Fright Zone, because you're always trying to keep. That's the thing with MOTU. You've always got fans of the vintage toys. You've got fans of the vintage mini comics or Akala or the cartoon, and everyone, wants their thing. So what I tried to do with all of these is incorporate ideas from both so that everyone has a little bit of something they like, really. So the idea with that was that you could close it up and it would be pure Filmation with the tower in the clouds, or you could open it up and have the vintage stuff.
Just beautiful. And of course, if you in your head canon, depending on how you think about it, that actually could be the complete castle, because we never saw the back of Light Hope, right? We never saw that thing. So maybe behind there is the secret Crystal Castle, right? Like that again, just gorgeous, pure toy porn here. Like that's what you're doing there, Stu. You basically made toy pornography for everybody here. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Stop it.
I'm actually lost for words.
The decadence, my friend. The decadence. Just a wonderful treat for all of us who have been fans of the series for so long. We've been talking for so long. Let's take some comments from the comment section. First of all, I do want to say, Jay Osby, thank you again for becoming a member of the channel. You are amazing, my friend. Thank you so much. That guy's stuff. Was it not orange in the cartoon? You know what? The film grading. I mean, the technology at the time wasn't the best, right? But what are your thoughts, both of you? Was it orange or was it a little bit?
Are we talking about Eternia? Eternos.
We're talking about Eternos.
So I believe it's that difficult thing, isn't it? Because and especially with PAL and NTSC as well. Like growing up, I thought Shadow Weaver was bright red, but when you actually look back at the original animation cell, she was magenta pink.
Exactly. Right.
So I always thought pink because Adam's outfit was pink. But in some countries where you've got different systems and interlaced TV formats and stuff, it might have come across more peachy.
Well, I mean, like for example, when I had a VHS tape of Transformers movie, Hot Rod was always red. Always red.
Hang on, was he not red?
Well, no, because in the DVD version, when they cleaned all the animation up, he's fuchsia. He's practically pink.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look. Let me see if I can bring him up. Hold on for a second.
That explains why the toy I saw the other day is pink.
let me.
No, but everyone could open Google and look at Filmation animation cells, and there are a bunch of different tones of the landscapes of Eternos and of Eternia. So,
I mean, I'm still reeling from. Do you remember at Comic-Con when they first revealed Shadow Weaver?
Yeah.
Like everyone in Shadow Weaver's realm was going to be groaning like, "Oh, he's never going to shut up about this." But they showed Shadow Weaver. She was bright magenta. She looked amazing. And then the final figure, they made her dark burgundy, and I could have cried.
Yep. No, 100%. Again, it all depends on where you were at the time or how it's perceived, because not everybody's TVs are the same, right? My TV, for example, has a saturation mode, right, which is terrible. So here's a really good example of what I'm talking about. Let me see if there's another one. Yeah, right here. Actually, this is even a better one.
Oh wow, yeah, no.
So,
actually, I really love the color scheme. It really makes the orange pop.
Yeah. So this is what everyone's buying right now, and it looks magenta, right? It looks almost fuchsia, right?
Yeah.
This is the cleaned up DVD version, but this is what a lot of people remember, right? Where it was more reddish, right? Almost a deep red. But if you actually look up the film grade cleanup, right, you can see that before and the after. Well, this is actually a bad shot, but anyway, it still holds true that when they finally cleaned it up, they realized that the Japanese illustrators actually made him more of a bright pink. In reality, he was actually a bright pink car, and
that would have gone down well with the 80s with dads, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, you know what? It again was one of those major things, right? But seriously, it takes a real man to wear pink. I wear, like, if you guys have seen me, I wear pink all the time. I don't care what anybody says. I love it. That's just accept it. Just accept it. Who cares? Okay, so Mothman 46. When you posted that, I went online looking to pre-order it. I know. I do apologize. I apologize. I think I did. Rightfully so. People are right to be a little bit upset. I don't think, but I think people will forgive me.
You're becoming the new toy guru, Jay. There you go.
Yeah, you know what? False information. Like, how dare I? Where is it? By the way,
honestly, that's my fault. That image there.
No.
That's where the funny begins.
This is gorgeous, and you know what? For me, I make no apologies, and I'll tell you why. I make no apologies because sometimes you have to do something shocking to get people to notice something. And in this case, people seeing this box art, it immediately said, "What the hell is that?" And they'll click it, right? But it allows for people to see that this thing is real, right? That this thing is a reality. And I make no apologies for that. Like I want this to be appreciated for what it is by both of you who helped to bring this to reality, because both of you deserve the praise for this. This is absolutely gorgeous, and the work that both of you put into this. Again, as I said with Stu, years later, people are still talking about this thing, right? And Mike, people will be talking about this in the fandom for generations to come. So, guys, bravo to both of you. This is.
But, I mean, most of the congrats need to go to Mike, really, because he's the one that spent ages slaving away making it. So congrats to you. But the good thing that comes out of it is, if people are tagging in Mattel and showing them this stuff and going, this is what we want, that's how these sort of things get made. I mean, I never thought we would see Lady Slither get made in Origins, for example.
100%, absolutely.
And that's happening. So, they've realized now that they've got a moneymaker, that the line is doing really well with adult collectors mainly, but that they want this stuff. So, if people want this stuff, then shout about it.
Exactly, 100%. Chef Amedi, guys, take that to heart, by the way. Stu is exactly right. If you want this stuff, you have to tell people that you want it. Mattel is listening. That much is absolutely true. We do know this 100%. Mattel is listening. Chef Amedi, Scott's knowledge comes from people who obviously hate him and outdated 80s toy industry practices. You know what, Chef Amedi, I know where you're coming with that, but really, we have to respect Scott and of course people who are industry like Stu. They have more knowledge than we will ever know, because the industry, I've never worked in it. I understand the idea of what's it called, economies of scale, but the reality is we don't know what happens behind the scenes. We don't know how these decisions are made. And as Stu has mentioned earlier, I would prefer someone who has even a small amount of knowledge and understanding of the brand, rather than somebody who has absolutely no idea what they're doing in the brand and completely destroys it. And as Stu mentioned earlier, sometimes these people have their own, and Scott's been called out for this too, where he's interjected his own character. You know what? I think that was less, maybe there was a little bit of want there, but why not? I mean, he worked on it for so long.
You know what? I said this at the time. Who wouldn't? If you were working on a brand and you had the Four Horsemen sculpting stuff and they went, hey, how about we do one of the heads as you and be immortalized in your own tool line? Who's going to say no to that? You're not going to say no to that. Who's going to turn that down? And I remember there was a bit of outcry as well about the fact that Scott chose Nepthu for the Filmation mini sub. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Now, okay, I'm not a fan of Nepthu. I would rather have had Kothos or Dragoon or Hunger the Harpy or someone like that.
Yeah.
But I also recognize that if I was the brand manager and I got to pick which 6 characters were in, I would damn well pick one of my favorites because I was the brand manager. Who wouldn't do that? Every single fan would do the same thing. So as much as I was not fussed about Nepthu, and I still am not, I understand it.
Yeah. And let's be honest, he didn't actually put his face in there. He actually did a character, right, which was more appropriate. I mean, why would you? Who would buy a figure of Scott Knightlick? I mean, that would be kind of a little bit overstepping. At least he showed.
I'm going to tell you, Jay, if Mattel Creations put up 200 Scott Knightlick figures as an exclusive, it would sell out in 2 minutes because people would want it so no one else had it. I know that's going to get a lot of reaction, but unfortunately, that's the collector's market now. Scalpers would probably snap them up and try and get him to autograph them all.
At this stage, yes. But as you said earlier, that was the whole mentality going in with the idea that, everyone's going to get King Grayskull? How dare they? How, I earned that King Grayskull. I put it in first. You know what? When it happened, you guys can watch my live streams. I was like, who freaking cares? We're getting an extra figure. Just fund the damn thing, right? But you know what? There's just negativity all over the place. Guys, can't we just be happy? Can't we just have nice things? Like that? Sometimes you just have to wonder about the community can be a little bit weird sometimes. Dave Sinelli, blame a great deal of inspired violence on bloated Cheeto Donald. Okay, well, you know what? That's
because I wouldn't want to turn it political, but
that snuck its way in here. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on from there. Okay, I'm gonna read this one, Chef, but we're gonna move on from this too. Scott did the collector equivalent of yelling fire in a crowded movie theater. Death threats are never okay, though. Yes, this is true. Death threats are like, why? Why would you do that? And people, you know what? You can even look at in history. It does not change. The entire team over at what's it called? Project CD Red. They were given death threats because what's it called? The Cyberpunk 2038 or whatever it was didn't come out on time. Look what happened. They rushed the product and it turned out to be the worst game ever made. Calm down. Everybody needs to calm the F down. Like, seriously. Things from China take time to come over to America or the UK or anywhere else in the world. It takes freaking a lot of time. And now even worse. So calm the F down, guys. Again, this is where Unicron's left. We weren't centering it out, brother. We weren't centering it out. Mr. Home Arcade, you guys are doing God's work. Keep up the customs and creativity. Thank you, Mr. Home Arcade. And guys, Mr. Home Arcade is doing wonderful creative, custom work of his own. Definitely check out Mr. Home Arcade's work. It's just absolutely amazing. Raphael Teven, I apologize, my friend. I'm terrible. Can you read that? Can you pronounce that, Mike?
It's for me, it's Rafael Tevenal.
Yeah, okay. Again, I'm terrible at pronouncing these. I apologize. Where do we order from? Where do we order it? I definitely need that. So you might have something here, Mika, Mike. But we'll Raphael, no, it's not for sale. It literally is an art piece, and it's beautiful. But thank you.
You know what? Though, one of the really nice things about this era of the MOTU fan base is there are so many fans working on the brand now. There's some amazing artists. There's people that have been in my fan group and who I know as friends or have met over the years and speak to, that are all working on various things from packaging to cartoons to voice work and stuff. So that's a really lovely thing, I think, because I think Mattel are more open to embracing talent and bringing people into the fold now.
100%. Absolutely. And again, just as you said, Axel Jimenez, just talking about Lady Slither, right? Have you met Axel, or have you had any interactions?
No, but Axel and I worked together on the wave, the wave of new characters, Fangor, the Great Black Wizard, Gladiator, etc. I did all the color work and the scroll and everything for that. And we also did a Spectromobile as well, actually, which I don't think ever got revealed. Probably because Scott knew that it would be destroyed, but yeah, we did a Spectromobile. But yeah, no, so I know Axel, he's a nice guy, and his work on Origins is beautiful. In fact, I wasn't going to collect Origins, but it was the artwork of the packaging that brought me in.
I'm the same way. I am the same way. Yes, wonderful work. Exactly. I'm the same way. Half the fun of the line is the fact that they've actually brought back all the wonderful artwork. In my opinion, it's just
beautiful. And Nate's color work on like Castle Grayskull, he did. I think Axel drew it and Nate did the colors. Is that right? I'm not quite sure. Or unless he did the whole thing. But it's just absolutely stunning. I mean, it's got that vintage feel, but they're bringing much more. One of the things that Axel and I were keen to do when we did those characters like Fangor and Gladiator, etc., was we're both fans of He-Man and She-Ra. And we felt really strongly that those two universes are one universe. It's all part of the same property. So what I tried to do when I did those colors was bring in colors that reflected both brands. So you've got the reds and the blues and the grays from He-Man, but then you've got the purples and the mint greens and the lilacs from She-Ra. And so that's, if you look at like the mint green and silver of Gladiator or the lilacs on the Great Black Wizard, etc., that's because I tried to bring that palette in.
Beautiful. Again, I'm a huge fan of all the work you guys do in the art team. It's just incredible. Neil Hunter Hyde, my goodness, this palace is gorgeous. I need one. I'm off to work. Have a great day, and I'll see you on the replay. Thank you, Neil. That's so wonderful. Again, you guys have done an amazing job. Dave Sinelli, Stu, my old man, look, took my blast attack and gorilla glued his two halves together.
I would probably do the same thing to me.
Oh my goodness. Negative Sight. Has Mattel contacted you at all?
No. Not me.
Tag them in.
They should.
I'll get the brand manager. That's what you need to do.
Yes, Stu, if you can drop a name. Star Max. Wonderful work. Definitely a labor of love. Yes, thank you so much, Star Max. Yes, 100%. Danny again. Love Stu's work. Been a fan for years. Yeah, of course. Danny, thank you again. Christopher Russell. I want one. Mike Stacy. With so many takes on MOTU, Filmation 2000X, Revelations, comics, I believe the look, feel, and history of MOTU Universe should be left to everyone's individual thoughts and ideas. And that's the thing. the property itself is evolving, ever evolving. You know, with new Eternia now, with Revelations, now Revolutions. You know, newer creators, newer newer ideas are coming into the fold, and we have to be open to that. We have to be open to the idea that this is an organic property. And a lot of people, some people are, admittedly, I love Origins, I love classics, but I look at the new Masterverse, I look at the new ideas that are coming out. CGI, I love it. You know, it reminds me of a DreamWorks production, and just the heart of the whole project. Shira, you know what I mean? All of these properties, they are all individually produced, and they all have their place in the MOTU universe. You know what I mean? So we should all just, again, there's something. This, I think, this is more true now than ever before. There's something for everybody in Master Universe. I really.
And
do.
you don't have to like everything.
Yeah.
That's the trouble. I think there's an expectation in a fan base that you have to like everything, but you don't. And you know, I didn't resonate with the new She-Ra, and I didn't resonate with the He-Man CGI reboot. I thought the artwork was gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
But I'm a little bit OCD. So when you change something, it destroys everything for me. So even the is it 87, the He-Man movie? Even that movie, because they changed Evil Lynn's headdress, no. It's like, no. And to this day, I think Meg Foster was amazing.
Oh yeah, beautiful.
I can't stand the way she looks. And someone actually photoshopped, it wasn't me, but someone photoshopped the actual traditional Evil Lynn helmet on there, and it looked
just
amazing.
Perfect. But the motion picture will always have a special place in my heart. And one of my as I'm shameless when saying this. It is the greatest kids movie, in my opinion.
No,
you can go ahead and fight me. Come on, Stu. Come at me. We'll argue every day.
What they did to Teela alone, never.
I love it. I love that movie. We're gonna argue for days. Come at me, Stu. We'll do this. Thanks, Mike and Stu, for this. You guys should collaborate for the next project. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thank you. Awesome stuff. The Photo Viper. Now there's proof concept. Now there's a proof of concept. Mattel can get to work on the mold, so the rest of us can get this. Thank you so much, Photo Viper. Definitely start sending emails to. Please don't flame them. Please just be nice, please, and just say, please bring this to us. You know, you're not gonna. You get more flies with honey rather than vinegar, guys. Be nice. Be nice when these things happen. Even when things go wrong, please be nice, or at least be civil. Just be civil. Chef M80. Have they covered how page for the Vikron is up on Mattel Creations? What? Vikron? What are you talking about? Chef M80 always tries to
Masterverse figure.
I think Chef M80 actually does a few of these things to me where he kind of tricks people. But
you have heard that he's coming, haven't you, Joe?
I think I did.
It's Masterverse, though.
Oh, there it is. No, it is. Vikron is up. Oh, crap. Yes. Shit. I didn't even realize that. Okay. Well, you know what? Here we go. Chef did not lie to today. Chef has this wonderful little comedic aside sometimes. Let me bring this up since I have to apologize to Chef now.
See, I've got to admit, I don't buy the Masterverse figures because I don't like over articulation. I did buy the Skelly Sorceress Lynn just because I think that was the best thing to come out of Revelation for me, was that design, the bat costume. Absolutely. It was stunning, really stunning. She should have just stayed in that. I preferred it to her Ozymandias look at the end. But the over articulation points on the Masterverse figures just aren't my cup of tea. I prefer less articulation and more visual aesthetics. I'm very visual.
Yeah.
But Vikron, I was not a fan of it in the classics line. It's one of the few figures in classics that I don't like. Just not my bag. It's not my bag, baby.
Yeah, yeah, but and you know what? When I finally found out about Vikron and what he would actually end up being, I was actually surprised with the fact that I thought it was 3 characters in one, but it actually ended up being 1 character with 3 different looks. Yeah. Holy crap, everybody!
Actually, do you know what? That is an improvement. I've got to say that looks better. Although they've got rid of the tank head, it's more of a
it's kind of like it's a turtle. It's a turtle,
and that's not a Mandalorian helmet.
Yeah, this has really changed. You know what? Let's react to this, guys. Let's do this. Huge thanks to Chef M80. We're definitely going to react to this now. Holy crap, everybody! Let's. This is absolutely crazy. Let's have a look at these. Just going to go ahead and bring these up. And let's, you know what? We have the perfect people to react to this. Let's go ahead and react to this. So I'm just going to bring up a few of these images here. Out of curiosity, just because I'm bringing these up, for both of you, Stu, I'll start with Stu. What is your opinion on plastic-free packaging, just from a fan's perspective? Let's not.
I've got to be honest with you, because I'm a mint on card collector.
Yep.
So plastic-free packaging just does not work for me, because I like to display mine. And there's always this narrative that goes around that, where people think if you're a mint on card collector, it's because you're planning on selling them and you're just buying them, so the value will go up. And that's not true. There's two reasons. Number one, when I walk into my collectibles room, I feel like I'm walking into a toy shop, and there's so much to look at. You remember when you walked into Toys R Us or something as a kid, and there was all this new stuff out, and you didn't know where to look first? I get that buzz from it. And also, when they're loose, I don't want to dust all that. That amount of dusting, no, I haven't got time for that.
100%. And I totally agree, 100%. Mike, what are your thoughts on plastic-free packaging?
Well, I'm not a hardcore collector. As I said, I only collect MOTU Origins. I only have a Skelegot from Masters of the Universe Revolution, not the series, the Netflix series, but it's signed by the voice actor who puts the voice of Skeletor, not Mark Hamill, the Spanish voice actor.
What's it
called? But no, I open. I don't have anything in his original package. I keep all the boxes, all the packages, but I open everything. These guys came today, and I will open, and I will play, and I will make photos, and
that's beautiful. So plastic-free packaging doesn't matter to you then?
No. The answer is
take a look at these, gentlemen. Oh my God, what are we looking at here, guys? What is your first reaction, Mike? What's your first reaction to seeing this?
Well, it's cool, and it changed about the original source.
You just mentioned that this is not the same helmet, right?
No, in the first designs, I think they used a Boba Fett Kenner helmet.
Yeah, true.
If I'm correct,
I believe you're right. Stu,
the color it's awesome. It's orange.
So they've changed it up quite a lot, haven't they?
They have, yeah. They have actually. Exactly
it is very Star Wars, but then I guess thinking about the original one, that was very Star Wars anyway.
Sure.
I do like it's sort of, it actually has a bit of a Zodak type of aesthetic though.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, kind of.
Right. I love the rebreather. That's a nice touch. I think they also have something very similar in Stratos right now, right? Maybe they repurposed this piece from that. If we look carefully, he's got a small cape actually.
Sure.
That's really neat.
Well, I think the classics one has got like a wings jetpack with a missile, hasn't it? Like Boba Fett.
Yeah, there's the problem.
Well, yeah, no, that's exactly it. I think that's probably what it is.
The Ray Blaster has always been.
Could be bigger though.
Sorry,
I think the wings could be bigger.
I think so. Maybe you're right, but I don't think
they didn't do the neck Sunman Origins approach, because that's not good. The Masterverse Sunman is a really, really good design. Love the wings on that.
Yes, those are gorgeous, 100%. So I mentioned in my earlier review that they actually give them, like the original design actually give them more actual real, almost like real life guns. I like the fact that they're actually going for a more spaceman type of aesthetic here right now.
Mm.
Yeah, I love the little deco as well. It's actually kind of like brushed metal, gunmetal gray. It's beautiful.
Yeah, gunmetal.
So good. And I love the fact that I always laugh at this. They had to oversize all of the pieces so that they could actually remove them. So they look a little goofy, but I love it. It's just so much fun. Yeah, he's looking pretty good. This space. Oh wait, he does have his backpack. Eh? It actually is his actual back. And those are wings. I thought there was like a cape or something like that. But yeah, Yeah, that's oh, wow, that's really cool. Yeah, it really is trying to move away. Oh, wait a second. Now I recognize this thing. Isn't that a similar style of helmet to the Castle Grayskull spacesuit? Isn't that actually something?
Kinda.
Yeah,
I can kind of see it.
yeah, something along those lines for sure. That is there. It is.
Hey,
What do you guys think of that? That's pretty neat.
that is totally Star Wars.
Yeah, but you're right. You're right, Stu. The wings are tiny. The wings are absolutely minuscule.
I think I probably would have made the loincloth white or grey.
It's like a little angel.
Yeah, I think
Heroine.
that's probably what's really throwing off the design, right? The fact that the boots and the
Hmm.
they got the white trim at the top, but I think yeah, you're right. But again, it's just one of those things where it's three figures in one. So it is plastic free packaging. So yeah, are
The
you?
artwork is stunning, though. It's very. Is it? I can't get the name right. Is it Frank Frazetta? Is it how you
It
say
is, yes, Frank Frazetta
Yeah,
inspired.
It really reminds me of that a lot.
But that's exactly where the rumor
Yeah.
is that's exactly where He-Man originally came from.
I mean, that is beautiful, but I just hate the bare cardboard.
This is a no for you then, Stu?
Yeah, the face is very interesting. It's kind of a little bit Herman Munster.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
It's a
definitely has
funny.
that. It has that Mongolian style of face for sure. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So, and I
I
think
love the fur, though. I felt like the Evil Lyn, the Sorceress Evil Lyn, should have had the fur, like real fur rather than sculpted fur.
but I like the fact that it is actually now more of a Mongolian style helmet. The first one I didn't know where. I thought it was a goblet on top of his head. This one actually looks like an actual helmet. And yes, the soft goods love it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I don't mean real fur as in like animal fur. I just mean like,
never. Mike, what do you think?
Sure. It's like it's the same that King Grayskull that for.
Oh yes, it's true. Yeah, exactly.
And
Very
I
good.
love it, and it kind of reminds me of Conan, obviously.
Oh yes. Generally speaking, if you're a He-Man fan, you're probably at least somewhat familiar with Conan. So yes, definitely, this definitely harkens to a Conan type of archetype, 100%. I love the axe. The axe is just beautiful. That's beautiful. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is definitely the one I'm going to be displaying it with. Every now and then I'll probably switch it up. Who am I getting? I'm buying 3 of these for sure. This is one of limit of 3. I'm getting them all. This is just crazy. I love the history that's been put in this. And you know what? Say what you will about Scott. He did make this happen. This is the first iteration of Vikron was Scott's under Scott's tenure. So
yeah, that's true.
you have to give the respect to the man who again it was a fan. And a lot
of people outside of the hardcore fans didn't know who Vikron was, or Destroyer, or Vikor, or Demo Man. Like, obviously, the really, really hardcore fans did, but that's not the main fan base.
No.
So a lot of people were introduced to those characters for the first time.
This is a deep cut. I mean, this is probably the deepest cut that anyone can actually do. In terms of an iceberg, this is right closer to the bottom, like for absolute certainty. Here's some of the artwork that's involved. Wow. Man. Yeah, Frazetta, 100%. This is beautiful artwork. Oh,
that is beautiful. That really is.
Do we have any information on who this might be?
I'm wondering if it's Nate.
It might be,
or maybe actually it might be Simon Eckert. He's very good at that kind of style of painting.
It's just gorgeous.
He's very, very talented.
Mike, what are your thoughts?
No, man, these illustrations are something else.
Just beautiful. I'm loving. We're going to take a look at this now. I'm just loving
Sure.
it. And it comes with a nice backdrop too. That is, I love that at the very least. You know what I mean? I like it when they include little add-ons like that.
Yeah, his own protocol.
I'm actually really confused because this is a deep cut, but I feel like it's very, very weird because we got Koldar in Origins, but we haven't had any other Filmation characters. And then in Masterverse, there's been Shadow Weaver and Catra from Filmation.
Yes.
But so is there Filmation rights or is there not?
I don't. You know what?
I'm so confused. And also, if they have got Filmation rights, it's just odd to make such deep cuts when there's this whole wealth of A-list characters that you could make.
I think this is probably just leaning into the 40th. You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's probably why they did this. But you're right. Maybe this was better served last year. Um, but on that same note, um, everyone's saying the same thing, right? Ted Biaselli is like, the rights are just stupid. Like no one can figure out the rights, right? And even
And
Scott
Ted knows his stuff. Ted's switched on.
yeah, and if those guys can't figure it out, then really who can? Somebody's been able to figure something out. So I'm just glad that Filmation She-Ra is in Masterverse. Same thing with Katra. Same thing with Hordak. I'm just so glad for all of that. Even Grislo, right? They're going in that direction. So
I'd just kind of like to see some, in Origins specifically, but I'd really like to see Katra and Scorpia, etc. It's we've had She-Ra, but we haven't even had a Swiftwind. It just feels kind of like a glaring omission.
I know, and the Swiftwind they teased on She-Ra's packaging art was pink, and I was like, I'll take it. I will. I'll love it. I'll love it dearly.
You can always spray paint it, Jay.
No, I love it. It's not about the color. It's just I'm a Filmation guy. I love the Filmation style.
Yeah.
So in my headcanon, Swiftwing is white, right? Even
I
though
mean, it's annoying because once you've got one horse mold, like with the cats, you can do a zillion variants.
That's true, and I love it, right? But it's just that when I saw it on the packaging, I'm like, okay, I'll take it. I'll take anything. But I want my white Swift. I want my white Swiftwind. Anyway, that aside, and the pipe dreaming for next time. This is really interesting. I think they really went all out on this one. Like it's got this turtle, almost like a Gamera type of head sculpt here. With whoa, look at the size of those cannons. Like man, this guy's. I feel sorry for him though. I really hope these are laser blasters because if they were actual cannons, this guy would go deaf. And they've incorporated some of Man at Arms gear here. It's repurposed on a lot of different selections, but still, this is nice. I really like that. Actually, no, this is all new tooling. Like, am I correct in saying that? I think this is all new tooling. That's
maybe that'll get reused for a Masterverse Eternos Palace Guard.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, that would be sick.
The face kind of reminds me the Talon fighter.
Yes.
Kind of easily.
Or the Sky Sled. It could be actually one of the heads on the Sky Sled too.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very, very astute. Again, this is why I have artists in the chat because I don't know what I'm talking about. And of course that carries over to what is that?
It looks like a Horde crossbow that's had the wings snapped off.
It's like the jaws of life. Like what is
what's the use of this thing?
To break down the battering ram, break down the door.
I hope so, because I'm the morbid part of my brain is thinking to myself, that's a demanning of ice. But anyway, that's a different thing entirely. So again, I have these weird thoughts in my head sometimes. But actually, if it were me, I think it would be like one of those weapons which open its jaws and there's actually a laser inside. That's what I would think. Or as you said, dual purpose, where if you got to dig or tunnel or maybe use it as a battle ram because it looks like it's got one of those ejector necks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, my brain goes in different directions. So I'm just weird that way. I will demand you. No, anyway. That was a bad idea. I think this is just gorgeous. I love the way it looks. Oh my gosh! Like this looks like an anime type character that's just been interjected into the world of He-Man. This is just so ridiculous. Oh my god! I might take that back. This might be my actual figure I put on my shelf. Like this is just crazy.
I agree.
You're gonna buy all three. What are you talking about?
That's probably true. You are up. You know me so well, Susan. You know me so well. Oh yeah, I love the mix and match opportunities here. Yeah. Holy crap. Just absolutely beautiful. Wow, that is a shot. The photography team as well. Just these guys are just doing such great work. Just beautiful. There's the entire pack out, sans Vikron herself. A lot of great stuff. And you know what? For the price, I have to say this is ridiculous. Like I was thinking, like with the pack out itself, I was thinking more along the lines of $50. But I think to everyone's surprise, at least my surprise for sure, he's only going to be $35 US. That is amazing, actually.
That's really, really good. I mean, it is a really nice set for fans. I will say that.
Incredible. That is incredible. So, guys, mark your calendars. June 6th, 2023 at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Mark your calendars down, because that's when Vikron goes on sale. T-minus 5 days and a bit. What do you know what the countdown is in the UK, or is it the same?
It'll be the same.
It's got to be the same. But to all the fans of the UK, don't sleep on this, because as if history is anything, they will sell out very, very quickly in the UK and Europe. Again, I really feel sorry for all you guys over there. It's a global market now, but in a lot of ways, it's an unfair market as well. Just absolutely crazy. So just a wonderful rendition. I'm super happy for this. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here this afternoon. This has been an absolute pleasure. I want to thank my two special guests, Mike and Stu. Wonderful creators, both of them. Stu doesn't really have much of a social media presence, but Stu, why don't you tell us what you're working on, if you're able to, or some of the things that you
actually can't. But I am working on something really special at the moment, which I think you're going to love. So when it's ready, I will let you know.
All right, beautiful. Do you want to mention any social media, or are you pretty much out on that for now?
I just don't really use it that much, to be honest. So, yeah,
no problem. But if anyone wants to tell me something to tell Stu, I'll be happy to pass it on. So definitely definitely leave comments in this video. That way Stu can communicate with you there. Because I think that's probably the best way to communicate with Stu. Just comment on anything that has his artwork on it, and I think he'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you so much, Stu, for being here tonight. It's been an absolute pleasure. I know it's difficult for all our different time zones, but wow, we made it work somehow. This is amazing.
My retinas are burning out from sunlight right now.
So. I love it. I hope you're okay, though. And okay, thank you for being here, because I know you rushed home for this, so thank you so much, Stu. It's really been a pleasure.
No worries.
Miquel, how can people reach you, and what are you working on, my friend?
Well,
no, that challenge it maybe was it is too much. But I don't know. Never say never. So I'm Kentel Studio in Twitter, and Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. I'm Miquel Candela. That's my name. And you can reach me in Fully Cosplay. That it's my Instagram, and you can say some MOTU stuff that we made, and that's pretty much it. And I wanna thank you, Jay, for this meeting, for the opportunity to meet Stu. It was an absolute pleasure.
Pleasure to meet you too, Mike. It really was. And well done. You've done a great job.
Mike, thank you. Thank you, Stu. Thank you. I didn't know if this would work, because obviously our schedules are a bit all over the place. But I feel so blessed to be able to be both of you guys. Thank you so much for the work you've done. You guys are absolutely incredible. Stu, I hope that your project comes out soon, because I'd love to hear about it. Mike, thank you so much. Guys, please follow Mike over on Kentel Studios. He does amazing work, and of course you can see him, Silent Bob himself, right here, hanging out with Skeletor and He-Man. How often does that happen? Probably all the time now that that he's working on the property. But definitely check out Kentel Studios on Instagram. Wonderful creator, Miquel Candela. Thank you so much, my friend. And you say thank you to me. I have to say thank you to you for bringing my dream to life. This has been absolutely incredible. Stu, thank you so much for also bringing a wonderful dream and imagining these wonderful concepts that have been out there. Guys, if you have any questions for Stu, if you have any questions for Mike, definitely send them to me, and they can definitely reply in this video. It's been an absolute pleasure, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys are all doing well and staying safe. And of course, everybody, thank you very much for watching. Geek Proud.
See you later, guys.